Welcome to Data Science for All 2020. This is the Team 84 presentation. For some reason, we were interested in understanding which was the factors that impacted student success. Our research directed us to understand that money mattered, where evidence showed increased spending on education led to better outcomes for minorities and ethnic. This led us to identify two hypotheses. Is revenue per student positively correlated with students' outcome? And are racial minorities outperforming on schools with higher revenue per student? Our data comes from the National Center of Education Statistics and California Public Schools Assessments database. We selected the school districts in the state of California for analysis and reduced our scope to the 2016-2017 school year. The main variables we worked are revenue per student, mean scale scores per ethnicity, percentage of students that pass the standard, and enrollment per ethnicity. This gave us a dataset of 10,000 rows and normal distribution on revenue, enrollment, and scores. We also learned that California is a minorities majority state, with Hispanics representing 50% of the population. Our first look was at mean scale scores by ethnicity, which showed us that minority students, Black, American Native, Hawaiian, and Hispanics were underperforming in comparison with white, Asian, and two or more races. We also could not find correlation between mean scale scores and revenue per student, and this trend was showing for all ethnicities. When we looked at our correlation, it showed us a negative to null correlation of minus 0.05. Wait, what's going on? Is there no relationship between revenue and student success? What else might be influencing student scores? We decided to get deeper in our analysis. We went to look at schools level data, find out if the funding sources, and what was the economic background of students. Our findings showed us that economically disadvantaged students were on the lower part of the scale. And this trend was regardless of ethnicity, where we could see the mean scale score distribution on disadvantaged students on the lower side of our. We wondered if revenue was distributed differently on schools, and our data set showed us that disadvantaged students were getting higher revenue, which was explaining what our correlation is showing. To verify our findings, we performed a pairwise test between ethnicities and disadvantaged to not disadvantaged students. We found also that ethnicities with the lowest scores also had the high percent of disadvantaged students. We see that American Indian, Alaskan Natives, Hawaiians, Hispanics, and Blacks scale scores are not so different from each other, but they do have a statistical difference from Asian and two or more races students, which have, as you can see, high percentage of non-disadvantaged students. We also saw in our regression model the confirmation that being disadvantaged would be a better predictor of a student's scores, taking in consideration ethnicity and other factors such as full-time equivalent teachers. So we failed to reject our hypothesis, and we concluded that students' economical background is a better predictor of performance. The minority students continue to underperform, and the relationship between scores and revenue requires investigation, such as time series trend evaluation and revenue allocation. Thank you for your attention.